Mathematical consciousness includes those psychedelic colors from some tie-dye shirt, causing distraction, confusion, misdirection, and darkness when the stimulation stops and there's no reward and there's boredom now. And when there's boredom and emotion after these hallucinatory moments, there's emotion, there's colors of a mood, previously described as a rainbow. On a transgender pride flag, they say they're protecting with their culture now. And then there's hunger. And then time. And when time gets too slow for those who have been hallucinating too much, doing drugs too much, smoking out of a glass pipe too much, inhaling tobacco too much, blowing out smoke too much, they get fidgety and they don't like when their neighbors talk aloud. They don't like when they hear too strong of a voice. They begin to crave tacos and chorizo and a Quran and a Bible and look for AA meetings to attend now. Their speed increases and slows down. And their energy continues to decline now. And for these examples of humans, folks, people, mathematical consciousness has to do with a THC content. The size of a tobacco cigarette purchase, the amount of alcohol in Grey Goose vodka, the amount of rocks in their bag of crystal methamphetamine, crack, cocaine, the amount of fentanyl pills, the amount of sound they make in a bathtub saying, "Who do I trust? Me." In a Cuban accent, a mafia cartel drug seller taught them when they bought their angel's dust. Ecstasy tablet now. In this example, in these descriptions, mathematical consciousness has to do with a formula for making LSD, acid. How long mushrooms need to grow to make a profit during a coronavirus pandemic, to be rich and famous and survive their days and nights and depression and philosophy and theory called folk psychology. a psychiatry of shamans and magic sorcerers, whisperers, speakers of voices, witches, in other words. And when this mathematical consciousness reaches a conclusion, there are those and potentially only a few who have read Omnivore's Dilemma and other Michael Pollan books about benefits of psychedelic ceremonies and treatments when done correctly now. And Peter Singer about eating meat and the ethics involved now. And gone to farmers markets with college graduates who had degrees from New Zealand, who studied in Fiji, in indigenous, in primitive waterfalls and lakes, eating what they found and climbing mountains instead of staring at walls, high on a drug on Capitol Hill in Seattle now. Mathematical consciousness doesn't necessarily require an elimination of the chemicals a government called the United States of America says are illegal. However, mathematical consciousness doesn't need some scientist in a lab to give a similar consciousness, a similar ticking of a time on a watch, not distracted by Alice in Wonderland and her big barbarian army veteran boyfriend. Now, when humans, people, students, folks, and learners study not only Deleuze and Guattari, Frantz Fanon, Walter Benjamin, Theodor Adorno, Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, Linda Williams, Karl Marx, and other philosophers and theorists, and begin to study equations, numbers, multiplication and division, differential equations and calculus, trigonometry, linear algebra, abstract algebra, and don't forget the importance of economics currently. There's a similar benefit when a day has ended and a night begins and there's darkness and less light. And neurons begin to replace these parts of world with other planets, oceans unable to be visited right now during a coronavirus pandemic, parks closed because there's too many tents, too many needles and feces, and a risk for disease now. And when these two parts of brain synthetically and sustainably grown and responsibly accepted as medicine within spiritual traditions going back thousands of years and possibly longer in the history of humanity, there's an awakening called a third eye in many Eastern traditions in India and elsewhere. An inner light I've seen on stickers on Capitol Hill, Seattle, conducted in teepees in Arizona in the desert with peyote and a fire and smoke from some wood burning, allowing a person to be human and see not only what they're told to watch and hear, but to appreciate an earth and energy needed for a consciousness they witness from shamans and elders who have wisdom about hallucinations other than confusion and misdirection and suffering now. In Peru, in Hawaii, in Colorado, with teas, substances from toads called DMT. And now, businesses and clinics with psychologists and psychiatrists providing ketamine to those rich enough and with those dollars and cents to enjoy polka dots and rainbows, unicorns, and a space restricted and controlled and limited by those who demand their awareness always have an echo and their attention always have dominance now. No doubt caused by those drugs they do and those choices they make about those humans they call theirs. Properties now. And locally, cannabis, available in 1,000 milligram doses of edibles. California calls a Death Star. And within all of these mathematical consciousnesses, there's always a need to be safe and secure, and say to that bully who never surrenders and never listens when a human in their own home says, go back to your home and go stare at your wall and find sex and drugs and rock and roll elsewhere Now. Echo, echo. Echo, echo. Echo, echo. Now. 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 Now.